So in the work of Ho'oponopono or problem solving, what is problem solving? I think we all have problems in our daily life. It ranges from the lowest to the highest. Now Ho'oponopono means to correct, to set a right, to restore a good relationship, balance, and peace of mind. Now I specifically say balance. We are very particular about creating balance in ourselves first, never mind the other person. We do for ourselves first, and then those around us. Now this is done by working with a family or with an extended family. Now the two things that we'd like to achieve in Ho'oponopono is balance and peace of mind. Now when we have the peace of mind within us, we're able to extend that work which we need to the other person. So the fundamentals of Ho'oponopono is to gather the ohana, like you are my extended family, together, and to build a specific purpose. What is the purpose of this gathering? It could range from 2 people or 6. In the event of illness, we always have Ho'oponopono. In the event of a person going away on a trip, we do Ho'oponopono. A person who's ill in a hospital or dying, we also do Ho'oponopono, and it is a must. So we build a subject around that which we're trying to do. So sin and error, offense, are the things we look at. Truth, the person must be truthful, because if it isn't, you're not able to eradicate it from your computer. We have to repent. Is the word mihi, is to repent, to apologize, regret, to be sorry, to confess. Now mahiki is that portion of the process, is to vibrate. Now when I'm asking you for forgiveness, we are vibrating that area within your computer or memory bank. We are sifting. So mahiki means to vibrate, to peel off layer by layer from one incarnation to the other, to pry and to weigh. So all these are taking place during the period of confession. Ho'omalu is that period of rest to reflect, a period of silence. Now this happens when we have a group and then a person creates a problem. He's resentful and sort of creates a confrontation among. So the leader of the group calls a recess. And when you have a recess, it means you are not to get out of your seat, you stay there and take closer introspection of yourself. And then we start again. So the pule, we open with a prayer and we close with a prayer. Because the Hawaiians always believed that any type of work that is done must open with a prayer and close. I think a discussion was brought today about the sacrifice. Well, I'd like to make a clarification about that. Sacrifice is that when you do not eat or partake of that sacrifice or offering that was given. It's not eaten by the people. But when we do any kind of a healing, we must have a close. It's like a sentence with a period. If you have a sentence without a period, it stands out in limbo. It just stays there until you put a period on. But the moment you have a close, we call it punny. After every session of healing, we have a punny. Either a fish or a fruit or fish with potatoes. In the old days, they had a red fish or a black pig. It's their concept of a close. But I thank you. See, and when you do that, it really symbolizes the gratitude that you have for the work that has been given. So the objective, the purpose of Ho'oponopono is that to use the process as a simple, infallible, effective method to solve problems between a patient and a family, friends, co-workers, and emphasis on self-introspection and karmic cleansing. Now we go into karmic cleansing, is the cleansing of your past lives, of that which you have created in the past. And in some of the cases that I will cite, It will kind of give you an idea how far back you can go. I think the farthest that I've ever done was back to the year 600 AD, BC. So it's really interesting. Through the confessing forgiveness process as outlined in the procedure, mutual relationships and healing can be achieved, and a manifesting of goodwill, harmony, understanding, peace of mind, and above all, love becomes a reality. So the conclusion to your whole problem solving is the release and the erasing of mental blocks. Now I'd like to emphasize on this. It's very important. It is the release and erasing of the mental blocks, emotional trauma, from the individuals involved, whether involved personally or in absentee. It opens a whole new world of good, success, prosperity, happy, continual relationship, and good health. The state of a peaceful, balanced mind brings is to ourselves. So many of us extend outwardly rather than to ourselves. I've asked many, do you love yourself? And they'll say, well, that's an egoistic trip. And I say, no, it isn't. We must learn to love ourselves first. So this is why when you begin to learn to love yourself, you are concerned about your own well-being, your own health, your own attitudes. And so Ho'oponopono can be applied to the following. Adult or child with average disorders, malfunctions. Number 2, a dying patient. So in this case, I say a family get-together is a must. Accident, suicide, drowning victim. Number 4, disagreement between 2 or more individuals in the family, in business, or otherwise. Number 5 is mental disagreement between individual groups and friends, such as hatred, anger, mild to violent, intense emotional, mental, vocal, or physical expression, and guilt. Now remember, guilt is one of the hardest things to pull out of you, is guilt. A victim of a curse by an individual, group, or priest, or a kahuna. Number 9 is the uhanihili, is a sleeping sickness. A sleeping sickness is when you feel sometimes really sapped out and you constantly want to go to sleep. And it's not your general way of acting. So we find that the soul moves out of you and leaves an empty shell. And the Hawaiians call it uhanihili. And we're able to restore that back into the person. In the case of a deceased, misuse of the laws of God, misuse of the laws of nature. And when we talk about misuse of laws of nature, we do that daily. Misuse of laws of nature. Possessions by spirits. Now you could do it through exorcism. Now in this process of problem solving, you can do exorcism. In fact, it's the simplest thing to do. In a case of embarking on a new career, venture for removal of blocks that may interfere or create problems spiritually, mentally, and physically. Now, what are the objectives of Ho'oponopono?